What's up? It's Dr. Will James, Dr. Will James Podcast, reporting to you. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so that you get a notification every time I upload new content. So today we have a video from Club Shay, Dr. Cheyenne, Bryant. Now I try not to get on these people, but in the space we're in, we got to hold people accountable. Now, I want to get this out the way. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is not wrong on everything. There are some things her and I agree with, but, in the sense of holding people accountable when someone is wrong and the message is just wrong or detrimental, I have to address it. So that's what I'm going to do here. I didn't know where exactly to start. It's a long clip, but I saw a part in it that where it's shaky, and I figured we'll start there. So, yeah, let's just get into it.
You believe men and women can have a friendship. Steve Harvey said he ain't got no women friend,
and he shouldn't.
But
he's married.
So like me, you're not married. I'm not married.
Get me on this conversation, Shannon.
I'm just saying. So you believe men and women can have a true platonic. Let's meet here. Let's go get a drink. Let's go get a bite to eat, and it stays that. Because a lot of people's like, oh, he's just waiting for his opportunity. He's just waiting for you at a moment of weakness, and something went wrong in your other relationship, and he got that big shoulder for you to cry on, and next thing you know, voila.
I had a best friend of 24 years. He was there through both engagements. He was going to be in both weddings. And as soon as that second engagement was off, he said, have you found someone new?
I do it.
Hold on, Shannon. I said no. We were friends.
So she should agree with Shannon Sharpton based off this experience. She was friends with someone for 24 years since they were 14, and he was her friend, so-called, throughout 2 engagements. And then when that fell through, he said, well, what about us? So the whole time he was looking at her as a potential mate, potential lover, not just a friend.
And since we were 14, I said, no, I haven't. He said, well, why don't we try it? I said, I know you too well. Listen to this. So I could never be in a relationship with you. He had no kids. He does well. Ooh. Attorney, all those things. I had no kids.
That's you.
Well.
That's
me.
That's you.
That's me.
Got it.
That was me.
My man been hiding in plain sight. Right here in front of me.
Right here. Okay, so I said, we can probably be homie, lover, friends, and be intimate because I've known you for so long. So I feel very safe with being intimate with you.
She said we could probably be homie, lover, friends. This is the same person who says she doesn't promote casual sex. What is a homie, lover, friend? That sounds like friends with benefits. That sounds like casual sex. Mind you, this is the same person who said that she, took out her birth control, no longer on birth control, wants to be pregnant within the next year or so. She's been messing with a guy who's younger than her for, I think she said, the last 5 years or so on the Truth After Dark podcast. She's not married. She's not in a committed relationship. That's casual sex. What is the definition of casual sex then? You're not in a committed relationship and you're having sex. That means it's casual sex. See, this is what I'm talking about. When I see hypocrisy, it has to be addressed. I would love to sit down with Dr. Cheyenne Bryant and have this conversation because someone needs to ask the real questions, and we can't play games with people who have a platform, because then people latch on to talking points and things these people say while they're contradicting themselves.
And he says, if I can't have you in every way and marry you, I won't touch your body. So I said, okay, well, let's try this dating thing. We tried.
She just said, okay, let's try the dating thing so that they can have sex.
Try the dating thing. Exactly what I told him was right. Sex was fire. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing, Shannon. The relationship,
What was wrong?
Everything that he did in all of his previous relationships, he started to do in ours.
He brought it back.
Because people are who they. This is another thing. People don't change. We shift.
So this is stupid. People don't change, we shift. She said this stupid thing before in the Breakfast Club. I don't like when people play semantics and people play games. People change and people can change. And this is someone who's supposed to be, you know, a religious person. She quotes the Bible. How can you be a Bible believer and not believe that people can change? Like she's trying to play semantics. It's just stupid. What about Ezekiel? What about in Psalms? What about all over the Bible where people change and how the Bible, how God speaks and Jesus preaches of change and how people can change? I'll read a couple verses for you. Let's read some verses on people changing since she's a believer. So Ezekiel 36, chapter 36, verses 26 to 27. I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will put my spirit in you and move you to follow my decrees. God promises an internal change, not just outward behavior. That's change. Psalms 51 and 10. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a righteous spirit within me. This is when David recognizes that only God can transform the inner person. So how can you believe in God? That's just two real quick. How can you believe in God and believe in Christ and not believe that people can change? This just doesn't make sense. But let's hear her reasoning behind it, and then we'll keep going.
Learn how to manage the things in us that we don't like or that we learn don't serve us. So if lying never served nobody, that person is still a liar who has to manage the behavior of not lying. No different than an addict. A person who was addicted to porn is managing, no longer looking at porn. Management could look like this. They won't go in the environment of maybe a strip club. They will not go in an environment where there's a porn on television.
Okay, so that doesn't make sense. First of all, going from not being able to manage something to being able to manage something is a change. So you could play games all you want with the word change and try to use shift and set, but those are synonymous, and those can be synonymous in certain categories. So again, going from not being able to manage something, the word she's trying to use and insert there and interpolate, going from not being able to manage it and being able to manage it is a change. That's for number one. Number two, people can no longer have a desire to even want to go to strip clubs and want to be in certain spaces. You can be over that type of thing. I was never really that big of a club person, but in high school, we went out on the weekends. I enjoyed going out on the weekends. I enjoyed going to clubs. As you get older, it doesn't serve you. In my 20s, I would say by the time I was 21, I was over clubs. And it's not something that I had to manage not doing. I just was over it. I grew as a person. I grew as an individual. I've changed. I'm not that club going type of person who wants to go out Fridays and Saturdays. That was some kid-like behavior. So what is she saying that people don't change? Yes, you do. You change, you can grow up, and you can mature. And certain habits that you once found entertaining, you can no longer find entertaining. You can no longer find it something that you need to manage. It's just something that you're no longer interested in. And she's saying that that's not possible, which makes no sense. Because she's saying people don't change, they shift. She's literally saying that, look, if you're that club going person, if you did that in your teenage years or your early 20s, that's going to be for you forever. You're going to have to manage that. You're going to have to manage not wanting to go to that club. No, you could just no longer want to do it. What are you talking about?
Same thing for alcoholics, right? They try their best to not go around it as much as possible. There's a lot of willpower that takes, a lot of managing. You don't wake up in the next day or go through 6 months or a year of therapy, Shannon, and you are no longer built the way you are biologically.
All right, so there she's throwing in the time. No, change doesn't happen overnight, but people change. Well, what are you talking about? Changing over time is still a change. Oh my God.
No longer think the way you think. You no longer have the appetite that you used to have. Do we grow out of some things naturally? Yes. But evolving and growing out of something is very different than saying, now that I'm with you, I want to stop smoking cigarettes. Now that I'm with you, I no longer want to watch porn. You're managing yourself. So there's only a matter of time before.
So I can't take this double speak that she's doing. She just said that we grow and evolve and grow out of things over time. Yes, that's change. So what are you talking about?
Who you don't like about me shows up in this relationship. So I always ask people this. Instead of finding people that you have to change for or that you want to change for you, find somebody who's conducive to the shit you got going on. Meaning, if you are in your dysfunctional era, I'm serious, you find someone who your dysfunction does not create dysfunction in them. Your dysfunction may be something that they need and they can feed in a healthy way, because that happens often. For example, people who have anxious attachment, those are the people who are just always want to be up under you, want to call you, want to attach you, want to do that, right?
What you doing? Not talking to you right now.
Watch this. Now, I'm an abandoned little girl who's grown up to be an abandoned woman. I have worked through a lot of my stuff. But that anxious attachment person would drive somebody who is in avoidant or even secure attachment crazy. That is system overload, way too much for them. Me, I love me a clingy man. So if my man, hold on, I'm not saying he's sitting at home not doing nothing, playing video game. I'm saying he's traveling, he's doing his work, he's doing his thing, but maybe in between work, in between sessions, in between lunch, he wants to FaceTime me or text me or baby, I miss you. And when he's done with work, he wants to get right back home to mama. I love me a man like that.
For
or
real?
He wants to fly me out. Oh hell yes.
You got a therapist session, you talking. So Mr. Johnson, so how is it that Mrs. Johnson feel that you're not meeting, so forth and so on? And then you get out of that session, you got like five text messages, 3 missed calls.
Okay, so see, now you're going to obsessive. I didn't going to be a nigga. A womanizer is going to be a womanizer. A woman will become a product of your environment. Offset and Cardi B is a perfect example.
All right, here's the stupid shit. Let me rewind so we can hear this stupid shit.
Going to be a nigga. A womanizer is going to be a womanizer. A woman will become a product of your environment. Offset and Cardi B is a perfect example. Cardi B came into it. She had no kids. She was in her career. She's going diamond and platinum with her records. No kids. Offset had how many? By how many?
I think you had a couple.
So who became a product of whose environment? Cardi now has 2 by 2. My theory, proven right again.
How's your theory proven right? How is your theory proven right? Are you removing? See, this is just removing accountability from the woman. This is just removing accountability from Cardi B, like she's not a grown woman. She has a type, and she chose a type. She chose Offset. But what theory are you proving exactly? She got with a guy. He married her. They were married. They had 3 kids together. She doesn't have 2 by 2. She has 3 by 1. She has 3 by 2. No, 4 by 2 now. She has 4 kids, 2 baby daddies. She had 3 with Offset, 1 with Stephon Diggs. She was married to Offset, had 3 kids, left her marriage to have a child out of wedlock. She's not a product of Offset's environment. She's a product of her own environment and her own behavior and her own interests and preferences. What are you talking about? What does this mean? I'm not understanding. So Offset is to blame for her picking Stephon Diggs, who has multiple women pregnant at the same time? How does this make sense?
In her career, she's going diamond and platinum with her records. No kids. Offset had how many? By how many?
I think you had a couple.
So who became a product of whose environment? Cardi now has 2 by 2. My theory, proven right again. She has 2 by 2. So she's a product of his environment. I'm just saying what it is, because a man who's going to marry is a man who's going to what? Marry.
Right.
He's looking for marriage.
He married her. What are you talking about? And Shannon Sharp just sitting there. Wow. Wow, what? She's not saying nothing.
But a man who's just looking for ass is what? He's looking for ass. It don't matter if he runs into Dr. Bryant. People in general, especially women, have to stop being so arrogant to think that anything we got
They got
from a
the goods
base
to
to
check.
a walk to a drop to anything can take a man and make him what he's not. We ain't build him. We ain't never made y'all. And we will never change y'all. Only thing we can do is choose y'all and say, if this man never changes this right here, I will love everything about this man exactly how he is. But we don't do that. I do now, but most women don't. We go, I like 25, 35%. I think that's 65%. Once he meets me, makes love to me, see I can cook and I can clean and I can do these other things and my knees is good and I do cook, yeah. But the maid cleans.
Collard greens.
I'll cook it for you, but I don't eat red meat. But I'll cook it for my man, but I don't eat red meat. But
dang, you do all that?
All that.
Mac and cheese?
But
bake?
Guess what?
What?
That ain't gonna change who you are. That's not gonna change the type of man you are.
I don't even want to go out no more. Lose my number, homeboy. Don't ever call me again. I'm happy here.
There you go.
Let me ask you this, because it seems like in today's time, dog. When I was coming up and was
this is so good. I don't even drink. This is so good.
Thank you.
Shoot, I'm about to come up with a Shay, a Dr. B something. This is good.
When I was coming up, it like the ladies wanted you to call them. And you just couldn't call. Like now, if you talk to the person once a week, they cool. If you
who's they? Okay, the other one.
Yeah.
Don't call me once a week. Call me all. Listen, I said, love me.
At least once a day.
Love me like this. Do not love me like that. Literally and figuratively. Love me like this.
Man,
you got to love me up close.
Man, Doc on demon time.
Call demon time. See, this is what this dark do. This is what the dark do.
It didn't take long.
Love me up close. But I want you to finish your question, because healthy people know how to love.
Okay.
Healthy people don't have to love you at a distance.
Okay.
Because a distance means that I'm putting barriers in front of us.
Yes.
So if I am not afraid of love, then why am I not loving all the way like this? Why am I not loving like this? Why am I not loving like this? Why is it that I'm putting stipulations or barriers or limitations on how I love you? I was made from love. My parents loved the shit out of me. My mom still treats me like I'm 4. My dad still opened my door at the age of 38 when he would take me to dinner.
Right.
So I am a love bug. So I don't need you to love me from a distance, because you are starving me.
You're a love bug who's 40 plus and not married, and you were engaged twice. You admitted to wasting the first guy's time because you were low vibrational. When did you become a love bug? It's just so much stuff that's just wrong. It's just so many things that are just wrong.
Of the love that we could both be having if you didn't have issues with love. Because when you think of love, Shannon, you think of love as limitations.
No, it's limitless.
So then why is there a amount on how many calls or texts I can give or get from you a day? Why is it that, too much time is too much time to be spent if we really love and like each other?
Right.
How come I can't just miss you while I'm in your presence? How come I can't just had made love to you, laid up under you, and want to lean over and still smell you again? What is wrong with that?
Nothing.
How come I can't make love to you, been with you for 4 days straight, we done made love 4 or 5 times already, and then say, Daddy, I miss you?
Really?
That's not obsessive. That's healthy love.
That happened in today's time?
That's how I love shit. It's healthy love. And that's why I can't just be giving my loving to anybody, because you have that kind of personality. I'm a gallon.
It is love
There's people who are pints.
Okay.
You don't mind being
Gallons have to be careful of pints, and pints have to be careful. No one's better. It's just different bandwidth.
Right.
My love is this. So if a pint pours everything they have into me, how much is left?
You still got room.
If I pour everything into them, system overload.
Whoa.
They cannot.
Nothing's wrong with that, and that's love. That's real love. If you could be around someone for 4 or 5 days straight, y'all done had all this love making sessions and all of that stuff, and you could that's real love. Love is when you could be with someone and you love them and you don't get tired of them being around. Love is rich or poor, sick or in health, that's love. Those vows are real. That's love. Don't just be around the person when they doing good and looking good. When they sick and they throwing up and things ain't perfect and you there for them, that's love.
Facilitate me. This is why I said we have to find conduciveness. We have to find people who are what? Bandwidth, capacity driven. We got to stop looking at this dude got a contract for $100 million so that contract could pay these bills. But then after you get these kids and you see that the trainer that you've been training with, who possibly can't pay all the bills, has the bandwidth. I'm not saying be with the trainer. What I'm saying is you got to find the in between where it's conducive for you.
Okay.
Because people are too driven in things that don't sustain them. And then they end up making decisions that have them doing time because they didn't take their time. That's a problem.
Is it in the relationship now? Do we have too unrealistic expectations? Because I think the thing is that, and what I'm a firm believer, and the lady told me, say, Shannon, you're never going to find someone that has everything. You're not going to find someone that can cook, that has a job, to do your X, Y, and Z. Because Shannon, if she has a job, how do you expect her to be at your beck and call?
Yeah.
And then you're going to get tired if she's at your beck and call all the time. You're going to get tired of her being at your beck and call. So you're not going to find someone that has everything. Just find someone that has enough of the qualities that you want, that a few of the ones that she don't, you can survive.
Perfect. And I say this, what are your non-negotiables? Right? My non-negotiables is a man with children. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, of course, we can't be abusive. Those are the common sense. Common sense, okay?
Right.
No kids.
Right.
So as long as he has no kids, I go down the list. He's kind, he's loving, he has that attachment style I like. He wants to get his suitcase and live up in me. I love it, that type of thing. And he loves on me. He's faithful. I like transparency. I don't like honesty.
She wants a wealthy man who's going to love on her, be faithful, and has no kids. And she's at the big age of 42. That's delusional. At your age of 40 plus, now she looks good, she's pretty, but you're 40 plus. You want a wealthy man. He's going to obviously have to have, a salary that's competitive with yours or just higher. Most women want a man who makes more than them, especially these women who are doing well for themselves. So if you're making over 150,000, over 200,000, this guy has to make that much money or more and have no kids. You have to find him attractive and he has to be loyal to you. That's delusional. I don't care how bad you are, how pretty you are at that age. That's delusional. It's a very small chance. It's highly unlikely that is going to happen, that you're going to find that at that age.
So he's transparent.
Oh.
And so what people need to do is say,
transparency is telling you is something that you didn't even ask.
Is forthcoming. Honesty is, I ask a question and then you answer me. Forthcoming is, babe, let me tell you what happened to me today. Baby, I was driving home and got an email from my ex and I ain't talked to her in 10 years. Mm-hmm. Really, babe? Yes. And the email said, boom, boom, she's in town. She wants to go to lunch. I said, what'd you say, babe? I told her I'm married. That she didn't see that on social media. Oh, I got a wife. Or I didn't respond at all, baby. Okay. And guess what? We resume our day.
Okay.
Because the fact that you're transparent, you are now depositing into our trust bank. Mm. But when I have to ask you, babe, and say you didn't respond to the email at all, you did everything right. But I happen to run through and I say, baby, you didn't tell me such and such emailed you. And you go, oh, babe, I wasn't even thinking about that.
I ain't even pay that no mind.
But let's say you did everything right. You really didn't pay it no mind. Now it's not about you doing anything right. It's about what? Why didn't you tell me? Most people say that. Now you are starting a little bit of cracks and crevices in our trust foundation when you ain't did nothing wrong. So now, of course, I'm not going to leave you for that. But now we got to work through me trying to say, baby, next time, could you tell me?
Yes.
But when you can just be forthcoming, if you know you have nothing going on, transparency is the way to build the best trust. Is, baby, look, this is what it is. And let me go. It's going to be a very unapologetic opinion. But for my players out there, for the men who trying to play, for the woman who trying to go dig, even as a player who got a little bit of game, transparency would be what you want to do. Because when you tell a woman everything that's really going on, she trusts you. Hold on. Trust creates what? Security.
Right.
What do women want?
Security.
Mm.
And you give her an opportunity to make a choice. Because if you deny her that.
So how many women are dealing with a married man who they know is married? And that married man has no problem with the side chick because she knows. And in her rabbit ass mind, she says, what? Say it.
Eventually he gonna leave her and be with me.
And guess what? He a good man, Savannah, because he's honest with me. He told me he was married. I could trust him. But see, Savannah's man was married in that movie too. That's the problem. And the wife don't know about you. And even if she does, he's a womanizer. So a womanizer is going to do what? Womanize.
Right.
So when a person shows you who they are, my dad used to always say, believe them. Don't wrap them with your fairy tale ideology of what you want them to be, and then gaslight them when you see that's not who they are. So transparency is the foundation, whether you are trying to move in a good character, which I condone good character, or even if you're not. It's about the transparency piece. We all want to know that whether I like you or not, Shannon, I can trust you. I'll hire you if I could trust you.
Yes.
But I'm not going to hire this snake who does a better job than you, but I can't trust them. It's transparency.
Do we have two unrealistic expectations of what a relationship should be?
You mean on the man and women's perspective? Yeah. I think so. I think the perfection thing is one, definitely. And I think that's both men and women. Yes. I think men want this perfect woman who does all those things you named. In today's society, what woman is not working? I mean, you do have some women that were kept. I was a kept woman. But to your point, I cooked. I cleaned. He had in-house. I never denied him. All I did was work out and run. I'm the president of NAACP here in Los Angeles, and I ran that and ran my foundation. But I didn't work. He didn't want me to work. But I also was a woman who was okay with not working and just fully submitting to him. I was okay in that position.
Would you be okay now in that position?
So I believe that I would be okay in that position if my husband said, baby, you know, once you have our kids, I want you home with them. And I don't really want you actively traveling the way you do for your career. And he was open to me still creating and producing all the shows that I produce where I don't have to be so hands-on, right? Having my Dr. Bryant Institute, which I have therapists that work for me that see clients. If he understood that what I built, which is bigger than me, it's about healing our community, is something I can still have and allow it to operate and heal folks, yes. But if he said you got to shut down all shop, when I would say, well, that doesn't make sense because this contributes to our economic household and it contributes to our legacy. And these are things that I can leave behind to our children. And also that you as my husband will fully benefit from, because this is not mine. I built this and it's ours. And so let's take it and build it together. And I don't mind hiring, an office manager, a second assistant, another CEO. I could hire 4-5 more people.
Right.
But I want to make sure what I built can sustain.
It's sustainable.
But what I will say is I am 100% open to dialing down and being more available and convenient and accessible to him. Absolutely. Because I've done it before and I love that position. Yes.
You mentioned the show that you produced. You co-produced MTV Teen Mom Family Reunion. You was on Basketball Wives. What is it about? I remember
him, right? Because I'm going to protect his privacy.
Yes.
Then this relationship could be absolutely amazing. So that was challenging to leave. So I just wanted people to know that there are folks who are leaving who are bleeding while they leave too. And they're not running out the door saying, oh, I'm out, I'm free now. That is a coping mechanism. That is a mask and it's fake.
Right.
Everybody leaving who is doing the departing is feeling
something.
They're feeling the detachment.
It might not be the one, it might not be to the extent of the one that's getting left, but they feel something.
They feel something.
Have you, I think there was a situation Offset was in your DM. Have you revealed anybody else that's ever been in your DM? You put anybody on blast?
I love that you said that. Offset was in my DM, and he just posed a question that said, hey, you know, maybe you can help me with something. He didn't say what it was.
Right.
That's all he said.
Right.
And because he never followed through, I never followed through. We never did a session. He was never my client.
Right.
When I shared that on Jason Lee's show, that was not
he was trying to slide.
It was not a breach of confidentiality, first of all, because he was not and is not my client.
Right.
So it was no breach. And he did not slide in my DMs asking for anything that had to do with me. It was very specific to, hey, maybe you can help me with something. He never said what.
So let's pay attention to what she said there. She said, Offset slid in her DM. She just said it was very specific, then contradicted that by saying it was very specific. All he said was, maybe you can help me with something, but never said what. That's not specific at all. That's very ambiguous. It's a very vague statement. Maybe you can help me with something. You don't know if he needed help with planning a party, some connections in LA, or maybe he was going to say, maybe you could help me with my next orgasm. You don't know what he was going to say. You don't know if he was shooting a shot. You don't know what he was going to say. Let's continue.
Right.
And so when I said that.
Let me stop there. She also said that she didn't follow up. He didn't follow up. If he reached out, you either left him on scene or you replied. And if you replied in regards to his question, that's the follow-up. But you clearly didn't because you didn't share that information. So he reached out asking you for help. You're supposed to be a psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever you are. And you didn't respond, but you shared it with the public that he reached out. That's very just wrong, morally wrong, and unprofessional.
I was saying that to more use Offset as an example because again, he's not my client. So that's not a breach of confidentiality. To say, listen, other Black men, being that Offset has a following, he's a rapper, he's in the limelight, he's attached to Cardi B. Mm-hmm. Asking for help is powerful.
Right.
You can slide in a DM to ask for help. It doesn't have to be to ask for something else.
Yeah.
And the fact that he did the appropriate thing, and my intention was to give him props. Now the internet took it and made it something else.
She tried to put him on blast.
And I was trying to say, listen, this man, with all of his bad decision making, we're gonna call it what it is. In that one moment, he made a right damn decision. And I was giving him his flowers, and the internet took it as, this is her client. I ain't telling shit. He's not my client.
Right.
So how does that make sense? How are you giving him his flowers when he didn't say anything? He didn't do anything. All he said is, you could help me with something. And that's specific. That's vague. You didn't find out if he was asking for some sort of therapy, psychological help. You didn't ask that. So how can you give him his flowers? I think she's being very disingenuous because she got backlash. So now she's trying to make it seem like she was trying to highlight the fact that he reached out for help and some sort of support with a situation. But she admitted that it didn't go past, maybe you can help me with something. So how can you give someone their flowers without getting the full context of what they're asking for help with? That doesn't even make sense. If you wanted to give him his flowers, you could have followed up and said, hey, Offset, what do you need help with? He could have told you, he could have gave you some context like, I'm trying to work on my marriage, or I'm trying to figure something out, mentally, how to deal with women, something that you do, because you're supposed to be a life coach and all this other stuff. It could have been something. Then you could have asked him, like, yo, this is very brave of you. I appreciate you reaching out. Do you mind if I share, the fact that someone as powerful as you reached out? Because who should trust her with just reaching out now? If she's going to take DMs, private information, private conversations between two adults, and just share it without telling the person, who could trust someone like this? And it doesn't matter that the person's your client or not. You're supposed to be a professional. And if you are a licensed psychologist, therapist, anything like that, I would think you would notice whether the person is your client or not, that's just very unprofessional. That's a bad look. And it's just morally and ethically wrong to highlight the fact that someone could be reaching out for something like that, and you make it public just because they're not your client yet. That's disgusting. And the fact that there are people in the comments defending this behavior and this action is wrong. So I think she's being disingenuous here. I would love for her to explain to me, address the points I'm making here. How, if he left it vague and there was no follow-up, and he just said he needs some help, and you never followed up, How are you giving him his flowers when you don't know what he was reaching out for exactly? A person can need help with anything. And like I said, you don't know if he was shooting a shot. You don't know what he was saying. You're assuming that he was making a right decision here when you already know that he's made poor decisions. That's what you just said. So let's rewind this. Let's see if I'm bugging.
Of all, because he was not and is not my client.
Right.
So it was no breach. And he did not slide in my DMs asking for anything that had to do with me. It was very specific to, you know, hey, maybe you can help me with something. He never said what.
Right.
And so when I said that,
maybe you can help me with something, he never said what. Okay.
That I was saying that to more use Offset as an example because I could, because again, he's not my client. So that's not a breach of confidentiality. To say, listen, other Black men, being that Offset has a following, he's a rapper, he's in the limelight, he's, you know, he's attached to Cardi B. Asking for help is powerful.
Right.
You can slide in a DM to ask for help.
Yeah.
How is asking for help powerful if you don't know what he asked for help with? Like, you could say, you could argue that it doesn't matter what he's asking for help with, but like I said, you don't know what he was saying. What if you said, sure, how can I help you? And he said, can you help me with my next orgasm? What if he said that? You don't know. You don't know what angle he's coming from if there's no follow through. When someone enters the DM, you don't know what's going on. They're just checking the temperature, seeing what you say, and then that can determine their reply.
And have to be to ask for something else.
Yeah.
And the fact that he did the appropriate thing,
Right.
and my intention was to give him props. Now the internet took it and made it something else.
She tried to put him on
and
blast.
I was trying to say, listen, this man, with all of his bad decision making, we're gonna call it what it is. In that one moment,
with all of his bad decision making, what she said,
he
did the right
he
thing.
made a right damn decision.
And that in that one moment, he made a right decision. You don't know that. So you just said he has a ton of bad decision making. This could have been another one. It could have been. It could have been a poor joke. Like I said, you could have responded, and he could have said, "Yeah, maybe you can help me with my next orgasm." You don't know. So I just think it's stuff like that where, you know, like I said, she has some good points. She's not wrong all of the time. You know, I don't think, you know, it's very difficult to be wrong all the time. You know, a broken clock is right twice a day. You know, that's how the saying goes. So, you know, she has some points where I agree with her, but it's just some points where it's just wrong. And I think that's a key point right there where she was being disingenuous with the whole Offset thing. And I really don't like that because, you know, as people like her and as other women and other figures who say, you know, Black men should be vulnerable and don't be afraid to share your feelings and reach out. The man reached out for help with something. You didn't follow through. You're supposed to be the professional. You didn't follow through after you read the message to, you know, dive deeper and see what was said. But you shared it. And why would you make that information public? Even if you reached out to him and you responded and he didn't respond back, it doesn't have to be public. That's no one's business that he reached out for help. That's no one's business. So the fact that she's supposed to be, I have no proof of this. I would love for this to be proven. But the fact that she's supposed to be some sort of therapist, life coach, and a person would reach out and she's going to make it public just because the person's some sort of celebrity is corny. It's weak. It's morally and ethically wrong. Whether the person is her client or not, it's wrong. Y'all can let me know what y'all think in the comments. I say it's wrong. Peace.